So it's about 8:30 at night. It's been a pretty long day, a little bit of slogging through some deeper snow and some mud, but I wanted to get as far as I could into the mountains here and just get out and relax a little bit for a few days. Not sure exactly how long I'm going to be out here. Going to play that by ear. Got a little bit of time, so going to see what the conditions are and see what the weather's like. So I've been having a little bit of fun on Instagram over the past few weeks. Since I knew I was heading out here, I posted a photo of all the things that I was taking along. And honestly, it was kind of a challenge to get my pack weight down to below 30 pounds. So I just kept throwing things out. Consequently, there's not a lot left. But the question I posed on Instagram was, how many days am I going for? And I said, big clue in the photo. Well, I got 5 granola bars. Basically enough for 5 days. That's really the only thing that had any kind of quantity on it in the photo. So that's what I'm shooting for here. Let's see if we make it. Got some instant mashed potatoes, some beef bouillon cubes, probably about a quarter pound of lard, and really not much else. So it's about 10:30, got dinner out of the way, things a little bit organized here. And as you can see, instead of a sleeping bag tonight, once again I'm going to use my OSC down parka rated to -40. Now I chose to bring this because I knew it was going to be below freezing here tonight. And this thing is also waterproof, so if it does rain a little bit, it's going to act as a rain jacket as well. So not too worried if get a little bit of snow or rain happening. It'll give me a chance to get a tarp set up. But in the meantime, it's a beautifully clear night here. Temperatures around 0 Celsius, 32 Fahrenheit, so right at freezing. No wind, and the sky is clear. The moon's just rising up in front of me there, and once that comes around, that thing is going to be bright. We're going to get some reflection off the snow here, and I'll try and give you a shot of that. So just making up a little bit of breakfast here. Like I said, I didn't bring a whole lot to eat on this trip. So this morning we're going to have chia seed and dried cranberries. Just kind of boil that up and let it steep a little bit, and just enjoy something hot to drink here this morning. So it's about 4:30 in the afternoon, and it's been a pretty long day again, but a little bit more relaxing today. I started out hiking pretty early. I was on the trail by about 7 o'clock this morning, and took advantage of some colder temperatures. It was still -3, and the snow was nice and firm, so I could walk on it without sinking in. But this afternoon about 2 o'clock, it just got too soft. The temperature got up to about 65 degrees. About 15 Celsius, something like that, and it was just getting too hard to find my way around the patches of snow. So honestly, just kind of relaxed here for the last couple hours. Took a little bit of a snooze, just laying in the nice warm sunshine, and we're gonna get a little bit more water from the creek nearby and have some dinner. So I thought I'd give you a quick look at what I'm doing for a water filter on this trip. Now, normally I would bring an MSR Trail Shot water filter, but with the COVID crisis and a lot of stores being closed, I just wasn't able to get a new cartridge for that one, and basically it was all clogged up. So I had this sitting at home, thought I would bring it along, give it a try. It's called a Life Straw, and basically it's a water filter that you dip right in the water, and you suck on it and it'll purify the water. Now this time of year the creeks are pretty muddy with the spring runoff, and so I just didn't trust them to drink straight untreated. But because I've only got one fuel canister along, I knew it wasn't going to be enough fuel to boil my water for a full 5 minutes. So dipping out of the creek, sipping fresh water through the life straw, and then at the end of the day just having a full bottle of untreated, which I'm cooking with. Now I say untreated, but I did also bring some of these water purification tablets along, and they do work to some extent, but they're not completely effective against everything that might be in these creeks here. So that's what I'm doing for this trip. Hopefully it's going to be okay. We'll see how it all works out. So it's already about 6:30. Temperature's starting to drop a little bit, about 6 or 7 Celsius, and starting to put some warm clothes on. Still got my fleece on underneath, but I've added the lightweight down jacket, changed the sun hat out for a little bit, something a little bit warmer. Put my long johns on, which I had taken off because I was getting too warm this afternoon. Changed my socks out. Really the only change of clothes I brought along was one extra pair of socks. I don't have enough room. I don't feel like carrying like 7 pairs of socks. So what do? These are a little bit damp from snow down my boot, a little bit of perspiration. Can't make a fire here because I've got a fire ban going on. But in the meantime, I'd like to dry these out. So one thing that you can do is literally take them and stuff them in your clothes overnight. Just the heat from your body will dry them out. Maybe a little bit gross for some of you, but having dry socks and keeping your feet warm is a big thing out here, especially freezing temperatures. So something I do, it does work. I don't know, you might want to give it a try. So there's the mashed potatoes I brought along. These were individually packaged. Normally one package is enough for basically one big meal. There are 4 packages mixed in here for 5 days, so that should be plenty. A couple of different flavors. The orange one is 4 cheese, and this is herb and garlic. And if you want to stretch this a little bit, turn it into potato soup. Get a little bit more liquid. You're going to need liquid anyways, water to hydrate, so get it in your food. And I also like to bring lard along. This is probably about a 1/4 pound of lard. Just put it in a Ziploc bag. And you might ask why lard? Well, very dense calories here. So you can add a tablespoon or 2 to your water. And it's basically flavorless, but you're going to bump up your calories in whatever meal you've got. If you happen to catch fish or shoot game, you can also fry or cook with this. And it doesn't melt really easily either. Rather than bringing, say, cooking oil along, this one stays put in a plastic bag. So it's another beautiful evening, but I had a little bit of time, so I thought I'd throw up a quick shelter here tonight. The 2 tarps I brought along on this trip are a 6x8 and a 4x8, both cheap PolyTarps. So a pretty easy setup. You guys have all seen tarp shelters before. I took some of these sort of ridge poles that were laying around here, put them to use. Just leaned one up against the tree there. I just got it in the crook of the branch there. I could have lashed it, but I really didn't see the need. The one corner there is lashed around the tree. And I like to use a piece of wood, deadfall log. If you have to cut one, that's fine. Instead of cutting stakes or bringing stakes. This way, with it lashed, the tarp lashed to the log, if you have to tighten up the tarp at all, you just move the one end of the log in or out, whatever suits your requirement. You can even roll the log up if you want a little bit of a steeper pitch on it. And that log is not going to go anywhere. It does rain a little bit tonight. Got some shelter at least. Just give you a quick peek in there. You don't need much. At the foot end, you don't need any height. This other end here, if you want to lower it down, it's easy enough to do that. Well, it's just after 6 a.m. And just thought I'd give you a shot of the temperature, -4 Celsius. It's warmed up a little bit. It was -5 most of the night. A little chilly. Had to pull out all the stops, the 2 foil emergency blankets, one under and one over, and even pulled out the rain jacket and used that as a bit of a makeshift blanket as well. So time to get up, have some breakfast. It's cold, the snow is kind of crusted over, so if you want to get anywhere today, now's a good time. Well, those are the hazards of hiking in the early spring when the snow is melting. I got through this in the summer with no problem, but a closer look tells me that's too deep to get across. So backtrack a couple of kilometers and around and try another way. So halfway through day 3, and the rain that was forecast has actually started a little bit early. So, you know, I've been pushing away from the truck. I'm about 40 kilometers right now. Would have been nice to go a little bit further, but I'm really not sure what I'm going to gain at this point. It's more than one day back anyway, so even 2 20-kilometer days in the rain, if it stays this way, and overnight tonight in the rain, I think it's probably time to turn around. So it's about 4 o'clock, and things aren't so pretty now. It's been raining pretty steady the last 4 hours. Not hard, just a good steady drizzle. Temperature's about +3 degrees Celsius, so it's cooled off a little bit, but I'm still basically warm. I'm more wet from sweat than anything else, trying to slog through this slushy snow here. So I'm gonna push as far as I can. You know, probably better to keep moving than just sitting and getting cold somewhere. If I can go another couple hours, then look for shelter, set up the tarp. That's what I'm going to do. Well, 5 o'clock and wet snow. Well, it's been a pretty long day, and just trying to find a dry place to make a camp, and there really aren't too many. Found this little bit of a spot under these trees here. It's not perfectly flat, but it's out of the water, so, and underneath some fairly large trees. So I'm hoping that I can get my small tarp set up here, provide enough shelter, and stay mostly dry for tonight. So once again, really basic pitch on this one. A-frame, piece of paracord for ridgeline attached to that tree there. Just rocks weight in the corner and one on the side. And another attachment point way over this other tree here. Got a long piece of paracord, but that's okay. It's going to work just fine. And underneath, once again, I've got my 4-foot wide piece of PolyTarp there, and once I get just kind of scooched in there, I'm just going to pull that flap down and just weight it with a small rock. So nothing fancy here tonight, just keep the rain off. So just give you a quick shot inside the shelter here. It's tight but cozy, dry. Got my rain jacket just clipped up to the one end there, keeping the rain out there. Everything else laid out at the head end here. Bear spray at the ready, and a knife there if I need it. temperature is +4, dropping a little bit. Hopefully it won't get too much colder than that. And for a pillow, I just used the inflated dry bag that my parka was in. So it's just after 7 o'clock in the morning. Survived another night in the tarp shelter. Actually worked out pretty well. Stayed dry in here, other than a little bit of condensation up on the tarp there. It's +3 now. Got as low as +1, so pretty chilly, but didn't actually freeze. Overall, stayed dry and fairly warm in here. Got quite a few miles to cover, so gonna get going here. See how far I get. Gonna shoot all the way for the truck. This seems as good a place as any to wrap this one up, but I still have the energy. Originally it was supposed to be a 5-day adventure, but I shortened it to 4. I think I covered enough ground for 5 days, so I'm going to call it good. All told, about 80 kilometers, 50 miles, including some of the doubling back I had to do, and at one point even dropped my GPS and had to go back a kilometer for that, but you know what? These things happen. I knew going into this one that it would be a challenge. With the fire ban, as I mentioned before, not being able to cook my food or stay warm at night or even dry my clothes presented some challenges. And so I packed accordingly, and I think it all worked out okay. Until recently, this area was closed to hiking since the beginning of the COVID crisis. And I know a lot of you guys are stuck at home, still locked down, but I think things are getting better. So wherever you are, hang in there. You'll be able to get out soon enough. Hopefully everything is going in the right direction, and we all get out of this thing in one piece. So once again, thanks for watching. Stay safe, and until next time, take it easy.